always say history is not boring. Real people do is better than fiction.
Charleston is unique from other cities to visit, I think because so much of the history has been preserved, but it's still a living city.
Charleston is a site where so much history that is written about has taken place. The Civil War, the Revolutionary War.
Even though we associate Charleston with the war between the states, and understandably so, the city does have more revolutionary history than it does Civil War, with more battles of the Revolution having been fought in this state than any other.
There's a fascination about pirates, the shipping industry.
The history just, surrounds you without you having to pay attention. You can pursue a particular angle in history that you want Charleston to tell you, but you don't have to pursue it. I mean, it just washes over you like a wave.
In one place, you can become introduced to human history and to natural history as it has changed.
So what we have in this greater historic Charleston area is really 5 centuries of history, or at least we're in our 5th century.
It's always been a town that had a large number of people who were very concerned about how they fit into the larger world.
It's really a cradle of civilization for this part of the world. It dates back to the first settlements when people came up the Ashley River in the 17th century.
The landscape, the architecture, it tells its own story.
When visitors come to Charleston, what I would recommend is that they walk around the city. They enjoy the waterfront, both whether on the Ashland, on the Cooper, or on the Battery, and just walk around the city.
The Battery, when they get down in the Battery, I show Fort Sumter, always an interesting place. Then I show to the right of Fort Sumter where Fort Johnson was located, where the first shot of the Civil War was fired on. Then again to the right of Fort Sumter, there's an island called Morris Island. Most of them have seen the movie Glory. And in that movie, many of those black soldiers of the 54th and the 55th Massachusetts Regiment died going up that hill trying to take Fort Wagner.
I think visitors should first start with seeing the historic district.
In 1931, the people who were concerned with preservation and with preserving Charleston's ambiance persuaded the mayor and city council to pass an ordinance creating an old and historic district. In the history of preservation in the United States, this is a unique thing, or at least it's a first.
We have remarkable museums and historic house museums in downtown Charleston, so they can get a real sense for the character of Charleston experientially.
The church you see ahead of us is St. Philip's Episcopal, and it's the oldest congregation in the city. They date to 1680. There you do have a signer of the Declaration of Independence, Edward Rutledge. He was 25 years old when he signed the document. Signer of the Constitution, Charles Pinckney. And Christopher Gadsden, who designed the Don't Tread on Me flag. Good friends of Samuel Adams. They staged the Boston Tea Party. Did the same thing in Charleston, but rather than waste the tea by dumping it into the river, they hid it and sold it later.
If you're talking about Charleston and uniqueness, you have to talk about the single house.
The single house is an adaptation of an English row house for a hot, muggy, Caribbean-like climate. Door on the street, like the English row house. Tall ceilings, more windows to the south or west. That's where the primary breeze is from, okay? But so is the beating sun. So whenever possible, they put in the long porches known as piazzas. To protect the windows from the sun, also open up more living space. You see a slight slant, to allow the rainwater to come off.
The single house in Charleston is the dominant domestic architectural type. And it's a form that was established, it seems, about 1740 or so. One of the most unusual things is that what appears to be the front door of one of these houses actually opens onto the piazza, and the real front door is partway down the house.
A lot of people socialized outdoors back then, and slept outside. But seeing a peak of ankle got you gentlemen married. Ankles were racy. So that's why you see the little door. That is known as a privacy door.
Now, these houses only exist in Charleston. They don't exist anywhere else.
There's a lot going on here, and a lot that makes the whole greater than the sum of the parts.
There's basically no way you're going to avoid history in this town.
Just going to the post office to mail a letter.
Yeah.
We're very fortunate to be interpreting the golden era of South Carolina history. It's really more, however, than South Carolina history. It's really American history.
So you're not coming to a place that's been, quote, preserved and mothballed. You're seeing a level of authenticity that you often don't see in other cities.
All of that is in Charleston. It is just full of history that is interesting history, and it's public history.
Again, I think that's what makes Charleston special, is this connection that Charleston offers between past and present.